Hey guys, this is going to be a video on the basics of using a Beretta M9. I already have videos on the basics of using striker fired pistols like this P365 and other videos on shooting tips for the Beretta if you're going to do the pistol qualification on it. But this one is just going to stick to the basics, and then at the end I'll show disassembly and reassembly in case you're about to do a cleaning. Hopefully you know a little bit about firearm safety. But my number one rule that I see people break all the time is that whenever you hold a gun, you always keep your index finger stiff and straight like a number 1, and then resting on the slide like this, and always out of the trigger area unless you're about to shoot the pistol because you're ready and on target. Let's go ahead and start with how to clear a pistol. And so hopefully you weren't handed a pistol like this. You should be handed a pistol with the slide locked open, but let's go ahead and start from a closed position like this. So the first thing on the Beretta is that it has a switch up here. This is the safety and decocker switch, and we're going to want to make sure that it's in the down position as it is here, which means that the gun is on safe. If we were ready to take it off of safe, what you would do is use your left thumb and swipe to the left like that, exposing the red dot. So remember red for dead, because that means that you're ready to shoot. So let's go ahead and turn the safety back on. I'm swiping it to the right. The next step in clearing would be to release the magazine, and you're going to use your right thumb and push down on this button right here. This is the magazine release, and when you press down, the magazine falls out. So in this case we have an empty magazine, and then now what we have to do is make sure that the chamber of the pistol is empty. And so you're going to now establish a very good firing grip. So again, that means a stiff finger over here. Your hand is all the way up on the grip, all the way to the beaver tail, as high as you can get it. And then your fingers wrap just underneath the trigger guard like that. Now I'm going to show you the way that, in my opinion, is the easiest and least likely to get you pinched, which is using your index finger and middle finger. You're going to put those around the safety like this. Get your other fingers on the slide. And then the base of your palm on the left side is just going to squeeze on the other side of the slide like that. Now what you're going to do is pull back all the way and then let go. And that is going to be an extracting operation for the gun. So let's do that. And what you just saw is something fly out of the pistol, and that was a dummy round that I had in the chamber. So I wanted to show you guys that just because you take out the magazine doesn't mean that the gun is unloaded. Alright, so the next thing what we're going to want to do is lock the slide in the backward position so we can visually check the chamber. And we're going to be using this piece called a slide catch, so you can see it moving up and down. You're going to want to kind of adjust your right hand if you have to, so that your thumb can easily move the slide catch up and down like that. Get that grip that I showed you earlier. And when I talked about pinching, I talked about up here. If you're gripping too far forward, and your palm is touching the barrel, you're most likely going to get pinched in between the slide and the barrel. So try to make sure your whole hand is the rear of this line right here. While I'm pulling to the right and backward and then pushing with my right hand, I'm going to push the slide catch up to lock the slide backward. So I pulled, push up with my thumb, and now I got caught. Now what we can do is see inside the chamber. So this is the feed ramp into the chamber, and then the rest of the barrel. If for some reason there were a round that got stuck, that would look like this, where you could see the back of the case. And then if that was in there, you could lean the gun down and it'd fall out, or if it doesn't, you might need some help clearing the gun. I do have a video on gun malfunctions if you want to check that out. Alright, so the next thing is, this is how you should have been handed the gun, with the slide open, showing everyone that it's clear. We're going to drop the slide now. So to drop the slide, we're again going to use the slide catch, and with our left thumb, we're going to push down. The next thing is on how to load the gun. I'm going to set this down, grab the magazine, and show you how to load a magazine. This brass colored piece is the case. This is the bullet that gets shot out. And on most pistol magazines, when you make the base flat, it has a forward lean. So you're going to want to match up the bullet with the correct orientation. Another way to double check is the plates of magazines generally have the shape of a cartridge. So a flat back and then a round front. This part of the magazine right here are the feed lips, and this is the follower. You're going to want to push down on the follower with the back of the case in front of the feed lips. Down in front and then slide backward. And now since these go narrow, it holds your cartridge in there. And then to keep loading more, you're going to want to rely on the strength of your thumbs. Push down on this case, and then push down on that first round, and then keep sliding in the next rounds like this. Alright, and then to unload those, you're just going to push those out, because now we're going to go back to the dummy rounds. So let's pretend that I fully loaded this magazine, and now I'm ready to load this pistol. We're going to make sure that the safety is on, which it is. I'm going to hit the magazine up so that I know it's correctly seated. And then the next step is going to be to rack the slide, because remember, there's a cartridge in the magazine, but it's not in the chamber yet. To get it in the chamber and rack the slide, we're going to get our good firing grip with our right hand. Our left hand is going to pinch the slide again, and you're going to pull all the way back and then let go, and do not ride the slide, which means you kind of hold on and don't let the spring do its works. So all the way back, and then I'm going to let go. Round just got fed into the chamber right now. And then a way we could actually double check that is by doing a press check. And to do a press check, we're going to open up a space right here to see if there's anything in there. And you're going to do that by putting the web of your hand here, wrapping your middle finger and other fingers just in front of the rear sight. And then I like to pinch right in front using this groove, pinch at the front of the slide. And then I'm going to use my two hands together and open up a tiny gap so I can see if there's anything in the chamber. And there you can see the red part of the dummy round. So we do have a loaded chamber. And now the next step in firing would be, if we're at the range, you're going to establish your firing grip again. And then the next step would be to remove the safety like we showed earlier, which is slide the safety forward, exposing the red dot. Now your left hand is going to sit in this exposed area of the frame, just like this. And your thumb is going to rest anywhere along the frame. Mine just happens to rest here. And your other fingers are going to wrap underneath the trigger guard like that. Now you can relax your thumbs. Never wrap this hand behind like this, because when the slide moves, it's going to cut your thumb. So always put your thumbs on the same side. You could also go lower like this, but I prefer this grip right here. So now, let's say we're ready to fire. We have a target. We know what's behind it. Nothing. A backstop. You're going to want to drop that front sight right in between the rear sights and line up the top of the sights like that. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it for the camera because I can barely see it, but at this point you'll have a very heavy double action trigger pull. That would fire the gun, of course. Now the gun can also be fired in a single action mode, and that means, single action means we pre-cock the hammer. So the hammer is already cocked, and that's going to make for a lighter, easier trigger pull. And now to do that, you're going to use your left hand, pull the hammer back. Now it's cocked. And now if you point and you pull the trigger at that point, the trigger is going to be much lighter. if you fired and you're done firing, we're going to put the safety back on. We're going to eject the magazine and clear the gun like I showed already. But let's say you fired until the magazine ran empty. What's going to happen is that the slide is going to get locked in the backward position like this. And then that's going to let you easily remove the magazine. And now you're ready to start over. And you can actually start over in this position with the slide open. And let me show you how to do that real quick. So you can reload from an open slide as well. So you would just insert the magazine, use the slide catch, drop it, push down on it, and that would load your chamber from an open slide. One thing I missed is that the safety also does have a decocking function, which means that if you were about to shoot and you cocked the hammer, okay, well it's not cocking now because the safety is on, but let's say you cocked the hammer because you were about to shoot, but then you decide that you don't want to shoot anymore. You can safely drop the hammer without firing the gun by using the safety, and so there you just saw the hammer drop and you decock the hammer that way. Alright, so let's get into how to disassemble for cleaning. Of course, clear the gun, so safety is on, take out the magazine, rack the slide, and then lock it backward. Look inside the chamber, that's empty. Now I like to release the slide again. You could also have dropped it with the slide catch. And then what we're going to do now is, while I push, so let's turn the gun this way, this button right here, while I press that in with my index finger, I'm going to swing this disassembly lever. We're going to rotate it downward. So that took a lot of pressure. That was actually really stiff because this is a newish gun. And now at this point, you can just take the slide, move it all the way forward, and the slide and the barrel and the recoil spring will all come out. So now we have to be careful because the recoil assembly is under spring tension. So what I like to do is get my index finger above the recoil spring and then maybe put on some safety glasses, press down, and then slowly release it, and now there's no more spring tension in there. Now you can lift this out of that small hole, put that aside, and now to take the barrel out, you're gonna put your thumb underneath this right here, and then there's a little button on the back. You're gonna press down, so you're basically gonna be pinching this, and then at that point, once you've pinched that, you can just lift the barrel out of the slide. So now there we have an empty slide, and then you do your cleaning. And now to reassemble, I'm going to put the barrel back in the barrel slot, which is the big hole. Okay, let's set it down and pretend like we cleaned it. Now I'm going to re-pinch and drop this into the slide. Now you drop it down, and then you actually have to make sure that the back of the barrel goes in the correct spot on the slide. So see how they're flush? That's incorrect. We want to make sure that it fits right into the slide like that. And now that is not going to move. We should actually push this down, and the button will come back out. So now the barrel is locked in there. Then you're going to take your recoil spring and put it inside of that small hole. And now be careful again as you pull down on the spring, and what you're going to do is you're going to catch it on that roundish cutout right there. So that's on the bottom of the barrel. Pull down, and now it's caught on the bottom of the barrel. Now at this point, you're going to put these frame rails on the frame into these slots back here of the slide. So those match up just like that. and then you're going to keep going backward. You might get a little bit of resistance. Then at this point, we're going to do that press check movement again, where I wrap around like this, pull back until just until these go flush, or maybe a little bit more. And then at that point, while I'm doing that press check squeezing, I can put the lever back into the normal position. And so now I'm done reassembling the pistol. And say if I were going to hand it into the armory or something, I'll lock the slide open, and now I'm ready to hand off this pistol to somebody else. Alright guys, that's about it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Like, subscribe, and share, and check out my other videos, and I'll talk to you guys later.